Hello, bonjour, bienvenidos, benvenuti. Welcome to the Music Polyglot channel. This being the Music Polyglot channel, you know you'll find good quality subtitles down there. Today, we're going to have a look at Positions by Ariana Grande. Now, we have two different riffs to learn, as you saw back there. And also in the second half of the video, I'll show you a way to play the chords if you want to strum away. I'll give you a couple of tips as to things that you can do if you want to. But those are the parts that are on the record. So if you, my friend, are a professional player or a very advanced guitarist, that was all you needed to know. That's all there is to the track. So go get him, Tiger. For the rest of us, let's break everything down. Let's do a close-up. We're going to work on the first riff, which is the one that you hear at the beginning of the song. This is played by string instruments, so namely violins and violas, but they're not playing with their bows, they're playing pizzicato, which means that they're playing with their fingers. We can replicate that sound by also playing with our fingers and by palm muting at the same time. Remember that palm muting happens when you rub this part of your hand against the bridge all the way down here, and you really have to be all the way down there, not kind of here or here. It has to be literally on the bridge, right? That's how you palm mute to get this type of sound, right? That muted sound. The part consists of 4 different chord arpeggi. An arpeggio is when you play the individual notes of a chord. So instead of playing a full chord like that, you actually play one note at a time. That's called an arpeggio. So we have 4 here. So let me play you the first one slowly, and then I'll show you exactly what to do. So first arpeggio, 3, 4. Okay, one more time, a bit slower, 3, 4. Cool. And how does that go? So index, 5th fret, 5th string. Ring finger, 7th fret, 4th string. Index again, 3rd string, 5th fret. So far. And then you roll down your index to catch the 2nd string 5th fret. And then you roll it back to catch the 3rd string again on the 5th fret. You add the 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the B string to get this note, and you play both strings at the same time. So slowly again. Chord number 2. Right, let me play it a bit slower. Okay, on the right hand, remember that we're palm muting and we're playing mainly with the thumb, the index, and the middle finger. Ring finger, 7th fret, D string or 4th string. Index, 5th fret, 3rd string. You roll it down again to catch the 5th fret of the B string, 2nd string, and then pinky on the 8th fret of the same 2nd string. So you have. On the next chord, we'll have to add and introduce the ring finger. Let me play you that arpeggio a couple of times. So now really slowly. So the chord on the left hand here, we have pinky on the 8th fret, D string, ring, 7th fret, G string, middle, 6th fret, B string, and index, 5th fret, top E string. Okay, and we go on the right hand, with the right hand we go thumb, index, middle, ring. And then what we'll do is we'll keep these two fingers, so finger 2 and 3, middle and ring, in the exact same formation, but you take them up 1, 2 frets and play both strings at the same time. Ooh. And the last one, a bit slower. You come back to the 5th position, so 5th fret, and we have the index, D string, 4th string, 5th fret, then the pinky, same string, 8th fret, then the ring finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and then the middle finger on the 6th fret of the 2nd string. In terms of the right hand, we're going thumb, thumb, index, middle, right? I'm talking about the right hand picking here. Cool. So those are the 4 chords, the 4 arpeggi. That keeps repeating from the intro into the first half of the verse until at one point where the other instruments are going to come in and the second riff begins, where you interrupt the last arpeggio. So you have and you only play the first note of the last arpeggio and you stop the sound. Then we get into the second pattern, which is the same 4 chords played slightly differently, and this really is a guitar on the actual recording as well. So let me play you that first chord. Slowly. Okay, so this is a D7 chord, but without a third, we have a second instead. So this is called D7 sus2. What we do is we bar the top 5 strings. You don't want to hear the 6th string. So actually you can bar it low enough so that you're touching the 6th string with the tip of your finger, tip of your index here, so as to mute it, right? So you are barring only the top 5 strings, and we have the ring finger on the 7th fret of the D string. Now we're not going to play the top string either. We're only going to play 5th, 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings. In terms of the finger picking on the right hand, you don't need to palm mute anymore. Okay, so you can bring your hand closer to normal picking position, which would be over the sound hole here. Okay, so in terms of the right hand, we have thumb, thumb, index, middle, index. Chord number 2 is an A minor 7 chord. So all we need to do is to take both our fingers in exactly the same configuration to the 6th and 5th strings respectively. So you now have a bar chord over all 6 strings, and your 3rd finger is now on the A string. And you play the exact same pattern here, except that you start with the thumb on the 6th string. And you stop on the middle finger. You don't go back to the index. So let me play you this chord for you a couple of times. Slowly. As you can see on the right hand, this is thumb, thumb, index, middle. Just like the first chord, but without going back to the index. Chord number 3. Now here we're going to change position. Chord number 3 is a B flat major 7. We're going to play it in position 1, which is the first fret, right? And what's going on here? So I'm sure you can work it out by looking at the diagram. So that's finger. So that's index, 1st fret A string, ring finger, 3rd fret D string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret, 3rd string, and pinky, 3rd fret, B string, right? That's our B flat major 7. And we play that with a slightly different pattern on the right hand. We'll go thumb, index, middle, ring. Right. Let me play you that a couple of times. slowly. So I'm sure that you've noticed that at the end of the picking pattern, thumb, index, middle, ring, you go back to the thumb, but it's an open A note. So we lift off our index, leaving the other three in place, and we play that open A with the thumb. Right, so. And that's right before moving to our last chord, which is the G minor 7, which is just like the A minor 7 that we played before, but on fret 3. Okay, so full barre and third finger on the A string 5th fret. And we play it the same way we've played the A minor 7 as well. So that's thumb, thumb, index, middle. Let me play it for you a couple of times so that you can hear it. Maybe a bit slower. So as you can see, the fingering on the right hand, thumb, thumb, index, middle. You'll play that a couple of times, and at the end, you have that little riff, right? That, after you've played the picking pattern that I just showed you on the G minor 7, you'll go and place your index on the 3rd fret of the D string. You play it, you pluck it with your thumb, and then you hammer on with your ring finger on the 5th fret. Then you come back to the index. That's ring finger on the 5th fret of the A string. Index again on the 3rd fret of the A string, and then back to the ring finger on the 5th fret. Let me play you just that little riff. Now maybe a little bit slower. Or with the thumb. Great. Now I've been going on about the finger picking, right? And although this is finger picked on the actual track, if you find it easier to play with a pick, I mean, by all means, play with a pick. We always go for what sounds better. And then maybe it's an excuse to work on your finger picking. Okay, so those are the 2 parts that we have on the recording. That's all there is to the track. But I'm going to show you a way of playing chords if you choose to play chords, if you want to strum, or if you want to come up with your own little part. They're also a bit easier to play than these arpeggi with the palm muting and the finger picking and all that. So you can use that to cover the whole song. First chord is D7 sus2. Okay, so we play it. That's finger 1, index on the 1st fret of the B string, and finger B string being the 2nd string, and finger 2, that's the middle finger, on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. We play the bass note, which is the D, the open D string, with the thumb, and that's your arpeggio, right? You can also strum it, pick all 4 strings. That's your first chord. For the second chord, really simple change. All you need to do is to change string on your 2nd finger. Take it from the 3rd to the 4th string. And now the bass note is on the open A. This gives you an A minor 7. Okay, you can also play the high E if you want to. You definitely don't want to play the bottom E though. Chord number 3 is the same shape as I showed you before for that B flat major 7. And the same shape for the G minor 7. So with those 4 chords, you can play along and come up with a pattern if you want to strum or finger pick something slightly different. My advice would be try not to deviate too much from the rhythms that you hear on the song. That's what's going to make it sound more like the actual song, and that's what's going to fit in. So maybe something like, I don't know, right? That I just made that up. But as you can probably tell, I'm following the same rhythm of the arpeggi that we've played before and the rhythms that are present on the actual track. So even if I play that along to the track, and even though that part doesn't exist, it's actually going to fit in really nicely. And it's probably easier to sing along to something like that. That's what I'm showing it to you in case you want to play and sing, or in case you just find it easier to play it this way. So there we have it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope it was useful. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel and also hit that bell icon so that you get notified when more videos come up. If you're after tabs, sheet music, or you'd like extra exercises on this tune or any other tune on the channel, all of that is available to all my Patreons on my Patreon page. So consider becoming one yourself. I'll leave you the link in the description below. Also, if you'd like a free online lesson on this tune, get in touch via the website. I'll also leave the description, the website address below. So thank you for staying till the end, and I'll see you next time. Hasta la prossima, arrivederci, au revoir.